Hey everyone, it's Morgan here with My Ag Report. So I thought we'd do another video showing just exactly how the easiest way it is to actually make a spray report in the field. So I'm going to be doing this actually from my computer just because it's a little bit easier to show, record, and do everything all at once. But whether you're using a phone, tablet, or anything, it's going to look the same. You can use the app. If you have any issues or whatever, you can always use the website too. It always works. The website's going to get the latest updates, and then we patch in the apps as soon as we get the okay from Apple or Android. So first thing we're going to do is click on that new spray report, which is going to bring you to your spray reports page. You guys probably already know most of all this right here, but here's a quick little refresher. So here is your applicator. So you can choose who's actually doing the application in the field. You can have as many in there as you want. Make sure you have all their usernames, or not usernames, but their license and address and everything, because this information will show up on your report. The next thing we're going to choose is what field you want to do. And as soon as you click the field, if you have that tied to a different farm, it's going to load what farm name that is. If you want to know how to do that, you'll have to watch the farm video, and field video kind of shows how to do that. We're going to pull in the weather where that pin is. It's May 12th here today, so it shouldn't be 36 degrees, but that's what it is. How many acres did we say that field is? So right here now you can leave this, like say you're going to only go in and do the boundaries. Don't worry about how many acres this says. That's just an autofill to make it as easy as it can be for you. Alright, so what are you spraying? If you're going to do corn, let's say we're doing a pre, so we'll keep it a VE for emerging. But you can choose any of the crops we have in here. You can choose other and then type it in if there's something you'd like there. And if your timing is different, you can choose other in here and type that in. So your tank mix. So this is just a generic name. This one doesn't actually show up on your spray report. So that's what I always tell people. If you're ever making your tank mix, make it something that you know that you'll be able to remember. So whether you can see, I like to call them soybeans or soybean post, just demo mix. Personally, I'll have corn 2020, and that's what we're going to plant or spray on our corn for the year 2020 to make sure everything. I'm always choosing the right one. What nozzles are you going to use? So this is more so really important for dicamba, because you need to make sure that you list what it is, but it's just a nice little thing to know. Maybe you want to just see, like, man, we got a really good weed kill. What do we do different with those other ones? And you can see, oh man, we left those nozzles in, or we, did whatever. So you can choose what nozzles you have. On mine, once again, that doesn't show up. I have dicamba and non-dicamba because that's what's easy to remember. Whoever's in it can know if they're doing those ones or not. Some people, like to put their 08s or their 05s or 1s or whatever you want to put in there. Go ahead and just label that something that you remember. So when you selected the field, that's where we get to this data spray. So the data spray is obviously today. Now, if you're doing this in the field, this should all be pretty much filled out. If you need to actually come in and edit anything, like if you're going to make your, say you sprayed last week and you want to come in and make your spray reports on here because you didn't use the app, you can come in here and make any, or make some from last year. Choose whatever date you want. I'm just going to keep it the same for right now. Same thing with the time and weather. You can come in here and you can edit this. You can click on the clock, click close times, or you can just enter any time that you want. The other thing you can do is do that same thing with the starting wind conditions. So like I said, say you sprayed last Wednesday, and you know that the temperature was 56 degrees, the wind actually was 5 miles an hour, but it was out of the west. You can adjust all that as you need. So we'll just leave that the rest of the way. So here's the big thing when you're using the app. If you're not done spraying, so when you get into the field, you should be, and you're just say unfolding or whatever, when you just are starting, you should get all the way to this point right away in just a few seconds. And once you get here, you can skip this end time. and you can acknowledge. You don't have to do comments, anything you want, but you just click add spray report. Now your spray report is pending. Now this can show up in a couple spots. You have your pending spray reports. If you don't reload the page, that's where you're going to see this. Otherwise, when you actually are on your home page, when you first get in there, it's going to say, hey, here's your pending reports. So click complete, and here is what's left of that field. So we've already changed a few things. One other thing I should add on here, so some people ask, what if I'm gonna change my tank mix? Well, you can't, once you've started it, you can't actually change your tank mix, but if you wanted to say edit, so I think we did this demo one, let's see what we all got in here. Ingenia, Triple Flex, Roundup. So say we want to add, what else do I got? We'll add Class Act, we should have there. So we'll put 1 pint of that. We'll keep everything else the same. So modified tank mix. So we just did this on the fly. So as we know now, or so that Class Act wasn't in there, but when we complete the this pending report, it's going to be in there. So that's how you can edit tank mixes. Like if you decide like, hey, actually, you know what, I need more Roundup, or if you're in beans and you haven't been doing volunteer corn killer, I need to add more corn killer. So you can add all those things on the fly, and it won't affect anything previously, but it will affect everything from that point on, or until you change it again. So going back to the acres treated, so if you were pretty darn close, I mean, I think you're okay with leaving what it is. If you had 149.6, I would, you could leave it. I do custom spraying myself. So when I do that, if this says 149.6, that's what I'm going to do, so that when I give him my maps and spray reports, they match up identical. I know how to bill it. Everything's good. Now, if you just did the borders, so say you just did 43.2 acres of borders, so go ahead and do that. All right, so here's one thing, this acres treated, this is what all the math is going to be completed off of. So when you want to see, how many pints or how many whatever ounces you've done across the field, it's based off of your acres treated. So this is what's important. So don't put anything else in here. Just keep that just a number. How many acres did you do? Here it's going to pull in the weather again. If there's anything you need to change, remember it's always editable. Same with the time. Like if you forgot to do it till you're at the next field, you're like, actually I got done with that at 7:50. You always have to accept that that you're taking the responsibility, that you put the information in there. And if you want to put any notes like left nasty, we'll do say left nasty tracks in southwest corner. So you put all that, then you can complete your spray report. So one question we get, can you edit these ever? No, you cannot. Once you click that complete and you have this report right here, it is done. The reason for that is just it's one way that we're trying to keep costs low for everybody. It'd get a lot more expensive if we had, so you could edit and reopen any of these. And the other reason behind it is you can really create your reports once you've made a couple in a couple seconds, or in about 30 seconds to a minute. So if you find out, oh, these are wrong, you can go ahead and change them quick if there's anything that needs to be changed. So there's that. So here's our acres that we actually treated. We're 43.2, even though the whole field is 150 acres. And so that, as you can see, is where everything comes into down here. So hopefully that gives you a really clear explanation on how the spray reports work on MyAgReport, how to use the full functionality of the app. So you want to get in, you want to make sure you leave, I'll just click here again, you want to make sure you leave this ending time till you're done and complete it. I always start, for me, I usually start on that last, when I got about a couple hundred yards left, or a few hundred yards left, halfway across or so I suppose. Pull it up, give it time to load. Then by the time it pulls in the weather, gets it there, I look at my screen and I'll enter the amount of acres I actually sprayed, and complete, and it's ready to go. So then by the time I'm folding up and on to the next field, everything is golden and I'm ready to start thinking about the next field. So any questions or comments, anything you'd like, make sure you email us, support@MyAgReport.com, and we'll see what we can get worked in for you. Thanks again for using MyAgReport.